I mean, why is all these attacks by Israel and basically coming so close to Damascus? And in fact, they struck Tartus the other day with a bomb that measured 3 point something on the Richter scale. So why doesn't that raise an alarm? Why is it okay for Israel to keep doing what it's doing, occupy more land?
So if you're talking about, are you talking about something specific, Zaid? Are you talking
I'm
about
talking about what Israel is doing every day. They have occupied more territory every day. They send in their tanks. Now they are in Daraa. They are, very close to Damascus. As a matter of fact, they struck the city of Tartus for no reason. For instance, a bomb that, like I said, measured something like 3 point something on the Richter scale.
Ultimately, Saeed, what we want to see is lasting stability between Israel and Syria. Israel has said that these kinds of actions and the limited defense of its borders are temporary, and no nation, certainly not even the United States, could tolerate terrorists and other armed militia groups becoming embedded right on their doorsteps. And so Israel, of course, as we've long said, has every right to its self-defense and its security, but what we are hoping for and what we're continuing to engage on is support for the critical mandate of the UN Disengagement Observer Force to uphold stability in the region, and that's something we'll continue to focus on.
So these attacks on Syria are in self-defense?
I will let the IDF speak to its own operations site. I'm not going to opine on those from here.
About Gaza.
Yeah.
The Israeli defense minister said that they will continue to occupy Gaza after the war. Do you have any comment on that?
I'm not.
Or do you still expect the Israelis to pull out of Gaza once the war is over?
Said it's important to to take a little bit of a step back. First, in terms of discussing the outcomes of a potential deal that are still being negotiated, I'm not going to get into that. In general, what ultimately at the crux of this, at the crux of of getting a ceasefire in Gaza, what we're talking about is a deal that would be implemented in phases, and we're all currently focused on trying to get to that first phase, which is about hostages being released, a temporary ceasefire, and a surge in humanitarian assistance. Of course, future phases would have details as it relates to security arrangements inside Gaza, IDF withdrawal, and what the positions and numbers and all those specific details look like. However, as you've heard me say before, Saeed, that a long-term occupation of Gaza by Israeli military forces, IDF or otherwise, would be inconsistent with the principles that Secretary Blinken laid out in Tokyo about a year ago, which is something both myself, Matt, the Secretary himself, have been clear about from the very beginning, directly with counterparts in the region.
Has there ever been any Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories that is not long-term?
Said, I'm just not going to. I appreciate your question. What your question was about this comment that was made as it relates to Gaza. We want to see a ceasefire deal first. We're working tirelessly to get that across the finish line. I cannot predict what these phases may look like from here, but again, I will just stress that a long-term occupation of Gaza is inconsistent with the Tokyo principles that we have continued to view as North Stars when we talk about our hope for the region.